Welcome to the number one spot health and wellness practitioners go to double their current income and turn their 10-hour work day into a 10-hour work week. Join us as we dive into the tips, tools, and tech you need to create a life and practice on your own terms. More freedom, flexibility, fulfillment, and of course, funds. It's time to build your online practice. And I'm your host, Michelle Rogers, also known as the Wealthy Woman. Be sure to subscribe for your weekly dose of education, inspiration, and action. Let's get started. Welcome, Lori. I'm so excited to catch up with you because we had a chat like this, I think halfway through the mentorship, and now you're officially graduated. As of how many months has it been since you graduated?
Oh, I think it was April or May, somewhere in there. We're in December now. What, 6 months roughly?
So, yeah, wow.
Math is hard.
Girl, I am with you. I'm counting on my fingers with the months.
Exactly.
Anyway, so let's kind of do a recap. Could you kind of introduce yourself, how things were prior to the mentorship? What were you doing? What was life like? What were you feeling? And then we'll kind of dive into some other things because I know you had your own experiences even prior to this mentorship that didn't go so well. So what was your practice like? What were your clients and patients like? What were you feeling? What were you going through? What was that like? And also tell us what your background is too. Which I think is interesting.
So I am a physical therapist, doctor of physical therapy, and I had worked in conventional practice for, I don't even know, 10 years, maybe roughly 10 years. And just the whole time searching for something more. This isn't the way I want to do patient care. Didn't know what that looked like, but just kept searching. And so about 3 years before I met you, I had gone out on my own. My physical therapy practice had become a cash-based practice, drastically decreased the volume of patients I was seeing to be able to deliver care in the way I wanted to, getting out of the insurance model, all the things, right? And awesome, funneled fantastic patients to me. I was very happy, but still kind of discontented. There's more to this, And so I just kept searching and taking more course, learn more. If you learn more, you can do better, right? I just kept doing more and more. Kind of went to the highest level I could within the physical therapy profession, fellowship trained therapist, and just still there was more. I needed to be able to dig in deeper with patients. So that kind of led me into the functional medicine space. I've been there for myself personally, and then seeing this need for patients, but I didn't know how to do it, right? I didn't know how to deliver this, how to step out of the model as it was, even though I'd already kind of pushed a little out of the model. It was still I didn't know how. So then I found, again, more learning, more mentorships, more things. And I think back last fall, I found you, which is awesome because it was everything that I needed to finally make the final push and have started, a functional wellness side of my practice at this point. So now for about a year, roughly, I've been doing this and it's awesome. I don't know if that's a broad overview. We'll get into that.
No, it's perfect. Yeah. And so basically I love that because I think as a naturopathic or a background in naturopathic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, when you came to me, I thought it was actually surprising because you're the first physical therapist that had come to me. And I was I don't know, this is interesting. Could this work? Because of my own ignorance, I guess, just not knowing your profession, right? And what really you do. And so I think that's really interesting because a lot of times that's a major question that people have for me is well, what type of practitioner can come into this space and be successful? And so usually I say it's usually a mid-tier practitioner, someone who at least has clinical experience or things like that. That's why I tend to not bring in certain health coaches. I will say, the health coaching profession is amazing in its own way. And there are health coaches who are really advanced, have a ton of experience, and who I would welcome like wholeheartedly into the mentorship. But like with physical therapy, I was like, could this work? Like, is this a thing? Like, da, 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 da. And like after speaking with you, I was like, oh yeah, like this is, I think this will totally work. But anyways, like rewind, I guess, right before the mentorship, you actually had a not so great experience. Like you were really, really concerned, and you're not the only practitioner to come to me with that concern. I will say the majority of practitioners who come in, they've never had coaching or mentorship experience. And the ones who have not had great experiences. And I've had that too. I know I shared that with you. That was one of the things we actually talked about on our sales call or whatever. Exactly. Was like, I had burned, I think in total, something like 30K or something on mentors in the space who were in the functional medicine space. And I felt so betrayed and so like, what? Like, yeah. What?
It still feels icky, right? You're like, oh.
Yeah, dude, I still feel it too. I was just like, wait, how does this happen? Like such a lack of integrity, because as you know, it's like the sales call, and I'm calling it that, but you can call it whatever you want. Like the call, like the interview call, the sales call, whatever, is really meant to be like, can I, me as the service provider, help you, the person seeking help? Like, can that happen? And like,
for you, yeah. I remember this conversation because I was just point blank to you, like, burn this bridge, something that sounded fantastic, did not give me what I needed. And I think I point blank asked you, how many people do you turn away? Because I felt like the previous mentors I had are taking anyone and everyone that walks in. And it was like beautiful. And now knowing you and the process and what you teach, like you said, not that many, but it's because I already have it dialed into who needs to be here. And I was like, fuck yeah, this is my girl, right? Like, yes, I totally get that, right? And it's what you teach and teach us for our own programs too. And I think that was probably the defining moment, the defining decision of like, okay, she gonna give it to me straight. Whatever, she's doing her thing and she's owning it and she's proud of it. And here's the answer. I just loved it. It was like unapologetically, but the point is, it was when you have it dialed in, you don't have to turn people away.
Totally.
Right? Yeah. Or you do turn people away. But anyway, I just felt like previous programs, that's some of the ick is taking it, trying to be everything for everyone. And you can't.
No. Yeah. Thank you so much for that reflection and for remembering that piece too. And now you know, like, why that piece is so important, like the nurturing aspect prior to, with content, with the application process, with all of that, because you've been inside the container now also. So you know, like how sacred that space is and like how amazing the group of humans are. Like the group of people that we have like in our group is just like, it's insane. It's phenomenal. And like every time people come in, it's just like, who is this person? I love them so much.
No. And to the same degree, I mean, that's what you teach us in developing our own program, because it feels that same way with my patients, clients, whatever you want to call them at this point, because it's now being able to do exactly what you did, like unapologetically, this is how I'm showing up. This is what I offer. If you're not ready, you're not ready. Take it or leave it. And that is such a beautiful place to be. I mean, I was already there to some degree, but yeah, like through this process has given me the permission to be that way even more. And that is like what you're saying. You get a group of folks that's just like, hell yeah, all day, every day, right? It's easy. It's like easy to help people when they're your people, right? It's like
so good. It's so good. And it's just like a win, like all around, like
totally.
Oh, good. Yay. I love it.
Exactly. Which is like, again, kind of what that's like, I think was what everything I wanted. It's like trying to figure out how to still help people and really be able to niche whatever down. I hated that. Like every course I took, it felt so scary to niche down. And I don't know what that is. And I don't know who my people are. And if I'm only targeting these people, then I'm excluding all of these. And so that was also a piece that came out of our time together in the mentorship, was like, no, you already have your people. Quit trying to name it as a whatever, a diagnosis or a demographic even, or well, maybe a demographic, but it's more of like energetically, who are your people? Who are the people that you want with you? And now create to that instead of all the other things, whatever diagnosis or health issue or blah, blah, blah. So anyway.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that made sense when I said it.
Yes.
In my head and heart, it makes a lot of sense. I don't know.
So it made sense.
Okay,
people who needed to make sense, it made sense.
Again, so, people understand me.
Exactly. So going back to the mentorship, so niching down was something that was really helpful for you. How else did the mentorship help you? Like what did it give you? What did you walk away with? Like what were some highlights?
A hard question. Yeah, I think it's a really hard question. But I mean, some of that is like seemingly superficial and it's not. So I don't even know why I'm saying that, because some of it is the money aspect, right? Of like getting out of the model of one-off sessions that I had packages for, patients to buy, but it was still the one-off appointments. And that's what was frustrating. I couldn't deliver the care the way I wanted to. And I felt like my time was taken advantage of if we went beyond that 1 hour session, right? Like, and I couldn't be accountable to my patients, and I couldn't have them be accountable to me in those 1 hour sessions, even if it's in a package, right? And so being able to deliver, again, you can do it however you want, but I've totally followed kind of your model of like a 6-month container, all inclusive, a higher ticket item. We're not nitpicking away each hour. It doesn't even like cross my mind if somebody reaches out outside of office hours kind of thing, right? It's like, it's so different. I don't know. It's so different when the money is there. You have to make the money, but when you don't have to think about the money. Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, what you're describing is like what I preach around, like giving from overflow instead of from sustenance. Yeah. It's like, that is exactly what it feels like. It's like, you're not watching the minutes. You're not counting the messages or the emails or the whatever. It's like, you're literally so taken care of financially, mentally, emotionally. You have time to take care of yourself physically, all of the things, like to where you get to show up and be like, I'm so ready to serve you. And it feels so freaking good.
It does. It does.
And all I get, and it's just like, it's again, like I have full body chills. Like it's a win-win-win situation. You love showing up as a practitioner. The other person is getting results because like they're totally invested, right? Mm-hmm. You're able to give them the time and the energy that they deserve through their healing process. And it's just like, hell yes, I would do it all day, every day. Like
exactly.
This is so good, you know?
Exactly. So being able to do it like, in a container and not one-off sessions and higher ticket was huge. So that was a big takeaway. I didn't even realize I thought I'd worked through my money mindset issues, like, no, you hadn't. And, I think that was a big takeaway. And then I've said it to you before. It was so helpful in the mentorship for me to don't tell me I need to create a client agreement. You handed it to me. Thank you. I mean, it's not just that. It's like protocols and other pieces, the pieces that were like ready-made and handed. It's not like I copy pasted. That's all I'm doing, but it took away such an obstacle and barrier to making it happen. Like all of the nitty gritty. The detail. That isn't what I want to do. I want to like help people and treat patients. And so that was really a big barrier for me, right? Of just the logistics of things. So that is absolutely what made me be able to take what I was thinking and trying to make happen and like make it actually happen during our time in the mentorship and to be here having so that was huge too. I mean, I know that's a little more the nitty gritty and not the kind of what it felt like.
That is huge though, because it's like, that's the piece kind of like we all kind of want like the strategy and the like, but like when it comes to those, like the nitty gritty of like the forms and stuff, I don't know about you, but like when you sit down and you're like trying to maybe write a post or trying to like start something new, starting is the hardest part, right? And so when you have something that you can use as that kickoff point to be like, great, I have this like amazing foundation, this thing that's very complete in and of itself, and I get to infuse it with all of my nuances and like really make it my own. That's a different game than having to come up with it like totally from scratch, right? And like how much time and energy and like all of that would that take, right? And so it just like saves.
It eliminated so many obstacles for me, and a lot of it was in the technology space of like just formatting that damn email is the hardest thing in the world for me, like, or whatever the document. And so it's like just having it exactly where you can, that was momentum for me big time. Like I think that was a big missing piece of making it happen. For sure. And of course the support to like, all right, jump in. It doesn't have to be perfect. Me and many of folks in your mentorship, we're definitely perfectionists, and like we need to have it all figured out.
Like attracts like.
Exactly.
I don't even know.
And I think that the environment was very supportive of like jump in, go. You can go and figure it out, right? Instead of trying to figure it out and having all this stress and anxiety and like trying to anticipate what's needed. That's been a huge takeaway for me, I would say. Like, I think I like verbalize that or would say that, but to actually like embody it of like, done is better than perfect. Just go. And your people, my people, don't give a shit. They're like, thank you. Okay. Here are you putting something else out? I'm like, yeah, that's still like half-ass. Okay, cool.
Right.
Let's do this. So
yes.
I don't know. What else I got? I'm sure I'll think of something else. But
you want to talk money?
Sure.
So when we first talked, I think it was right around month 3 or 4. I can't remember exactly, but it was like
somewhere around there.
Yeah, somewhere around midway through the program. And at that point, you had said you already made back your investment for the mentorship and for a previous mentorship that you invested in. So I was so curious to know where you're at now.
Oh my gosh. It's just insane. You're exactly right. Like it was a scary leap to commit because again, I'd already kind of been burned with a big ticket mentorship and whatever. It was good. I still got things out of it, right? But whatever. It doesn't matter. So it's hard to make that commitment again to like, I mean, be candid. Your mentorship for 6 months was the same price as my 3-year fellowship training. You know, it's like, whoa, like what are we doing here? Right. You better get some results. And like you said, I wasn't even out of the program and I'd already, made well over I don't know. I feel like it was like 40,000 at that point, and it was like 4 months into the program, right? Like it's crazy. But what I can say at this point, like I pulled some numbers for our call, and it's crazy. Like when I met you, and I mean, was very happy in where I'm at financially. Like I was able to live the life I wanted, but I could be a little more comfortable, right? You always like, a little bit more.
There's no shame in wanting more.
Exactly. And at that point, I was like, my goal, I don't remember exactly what it was. I don't want to get into QuickBooks that much, but I remember like I always make my password my financial goal, like my bank password. And at that point, it was like greater.
Now we all know, Lori.
Exactly. Oh, well, whatever. At that point, it was greater than 10K a month. And that was a goal, right? Like I was nailing it. I was doing it, but that's where I was at. Was happy and very content with like 10K a month. Okay. Fast forward. And now my average, I just took the last like 6 months or whatever. And my average is 18K a month. That's fucking huge, right? And I know to some people that's still like only 18K a month, like whatever, income, but that's huge because again, we're talking about that.
Did you just compare yourself to someone?
I did.
An imaginary person?
And I don't really give a shit. Like I'm really happy with where I'm at and I'm super stoked. Like I did pull the P&L. terrifying. Quick, again, simple math. It's really hard, but
I'll just pause it and I had to do math real quick because, we're like kind of the same. Lori and I are in, if I can say it, we're in like a financial sovereignty course together actually right now, which is really fun and exciting. So we're always like, oh God, we have to do math. But anyways, but I just did math. You realize you have a multi-six-figure practice now.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. Yes, it's crazy. And it's like, yes, double. So when I'm just looking at the P&L, like double the income of last year at this same moment. Double. I'm not exaggerating that. Like 100% increase. And I'm seeing fewer people doing it. I was already, I only saw 24 patient visits a week. That's where I'm at. That's the life I wanted. And now my average is 16. And I'm
my God.
Exactly. That's crazy talk, right? I mean, that is
hello time. You're making more money. Amazing. And you have how many hours per week back to your life where you get to choose what you want to do, if you want to go somewhere.
I was already doing it, right? Like I created where I'm like, this whole 16 patients a day thing ain't working. I've got to have me time. I got to get outside. And now to be able to do that even more. And we're kind of back to that unapologetically, right? Because people around you don't necessarily like that. Some people, right? Not people that are closest to me, but you know what I mean, right? Like sometimes that's sort of, I guess, commonplace is a little bit frowned upon, right? Like you're supposed to work your ass off and be there all the time.
So we'll have a mild coaching moment. What does that actually mean when people are mad or people are jealous or people are judging?
Yeah,
exactly. It's because there's this inner aspect of them envying, right?
Absolutely.
That I had this when I entered the online space. How many naturopathic doctors I had messaging me being like, what are you doing? You're not allowed to do that. I'm like, hello.
I know. I'm like, and why are you messaging me? Because you didn't message me before? Like, what difference?
Yeah.
Your opinion means pretty little to me. Just that.
It's the people who are deep down, holy shit, I want that so bad. Why can't I have that? That.
Then I say, I have this great 6-month program that can help you.
Yes.
To get to the same place with your body, your business, and your badassery. That's my tagline.
Is that? Okay. I was like, is that my new tagline?
No, it's mine. It's my program. It's literally body, business, badassery. It's all right, and I got this thing. I see you wanting this. No. Yes, but income is drastically changed for sure. Patient visits down. And then the other piece is it was scary to even consider going virtual. And I'm still see in-person patients. I don't know if I'll ever give that up. I mean, I'm a hands-on manual therapist, and I still love that, right? It's but at this point, again, I kind of pulled the numbers. 35% of my visits are virtual now. I mean, a year ago it was 5% maybe, right?
Amazing.
And so that too is I got this free time, and now I can just come off the ski run and hit you up real quick and then go back, right? That's huge when I don't have to be here. And I want to be here, but that I don't have to be now. And the freedom that comes with, because I'm a one-woman show, and so if I'm not here, I'm not making money for the business. Yeah. Well, before, right? And now that's not the case, right? I can be whatever, at the beach, on the ski run.
And that is it. That is the freedom, right? Is the ability to choose.
Squeezing my butt cheeks right now. It's so exciting.
But that is it. I mean, when I talk about freedom, it's that's what I associate. Everybody, I think, has a different association with freedom. But when I think of freedom, it's choice, being able to choose. I can be in the office, or I can be in the lodge.
Exactly.
Or and I get to choose. And that is the beauty and the flexibility and what's feeds us and keeps us going. Like I should actually, I just thought, I think I'm going to look up, I don't know how I would look this up, but the statistic on how many practitioners actually burn out and quit after a period of time, because I know it's high. I know it's high. And I don't know where I would look that up, but I will try to look that up because it's got to be out there, because that's the thing. It's like, that is, I believe, the only way to truly help us help more people is by taking care of ourselves. I mean, absolutely. Going back to giving from abundance instead of from sustenance, like how many practitioners do we all know that are burnt out, exhausted, like kind of questioning whether or not they should still be doing what they're doing? Like
I was there when I'm sitting outside of the clinic crying. I'm like, what the hell? Because I don't want to go in because you're burnt. I was burnt, right? I was there. I was like anxiety out the wazoo. But again, I know at that point it's because I was in the traditional model. I was trying to be everything for everyone. And I knew, like, I would say it, like, I cannot care more than you. If you don't give a shit, why do I give a shit? I'm like saying this to patients because we're seeing everything that walks in the door. Everybody, wherever the referral source comes from. Now, I'm seeing people that want to be here and they want to be here with me. Nobody's told them to do this, right? It's like, that is hugely different. And that, yeah, exactly. I mean, that burnout piece is awful, right? And I remember we had many discussions even through this program and like developing it. Like my biggest fear is still getting back to that point, right? Of overwhelm and anxiety and like being that version of Lori that just is, it's not Lori, right? Like, I was just angry, right? Like just angry.
Yeah. And how does that affect like your relationship and like friendship?
Positively.
Right. And so it's like the rip effect of us being taken care of doesn't just affect us. It doesn't just affect our clients and patients, but like every single person that we come into contact with, our closest relationships, our families, our everything.
Exactly. Huge. Which has become one of the pillars in my program that I didn't even really intend to be part of it, but this has become part of it, is like, how do you showing up for yourself first? And like, we're kind of back to that, like unapologetically taking care of you so that you can take care of others. Many of my people are business owners themselves or in whatever else, right? Moms, whatever. But yeah, and it's so much, there's so much discussion and talk and work to be done around that, right? Of being able to really listen to what you need, act on it, and make it happen, even if it doesn't look the way everybody expects it to, or you expect it to, or society. And it's so good. It's so good. But I think I was already there, but I think so much of that came through the mentorship of like being around people that are in that same headspace. Like, okay, we can do this. We can do this different. Oh, awesome.
Yeah, in the best way.
It is.
I want to go back real quick just to where you were talking about your clients and your patients just being like more invested, basically. But like, I'm assuming you're also getting better results.
For sure. Because I'm no longer just putting out fires. Like, that's what I was doing. Even at a higher level of physical therapy practice, I was able to go in deeper with folks, but then like a traditional setting, but I was still, it's like, no, this, for instance, it's like, no, I know this recurrent back pain is your damn gut and your heart. Like, you got to get some shit figured out. You are stressed the fuck out and your gut's a mess. Sure, it's back pain. I'm not saying it's not, but we need to deal with some of these other pieces, right? And as I got more and more training as a physical therapist, that's truly kind of the evolution. I learned more and more about how to truly screen other systems, right? And so then I'm asking all these questions and I'm getting all this information, but I can't act on it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I think these other systems are part of what's going on with your musculoskeletal system or your nervous system. Those are kind of where I was at mainly, right? But I had no way to like yeah, act on it. That's all I can say, right? Like, and to be able to follow through with it. And so now it's being able to, like to be able to actually like use the labs to get some concrete data, because I still need some data. Like, I'm still a black and white girl. Like, give me some data to work on. Don't just give me all the hearts and the fills, right? And being able to do that and look at all the systems. Hey, I think you're muted. I don't know. You went quiet. But yeah, so I'm getting much better results because it's not just, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's not just musculoskeletal system now. Like, I can truly dig into these other systems and how it all intertwines, and yeah, results are going to be drastically different, right? I mean, but it's just like, it's profound, the things that people say, right? Like the unsolicited, whatever, results, response, outcomes, gratitude that you get from people when you really start digging in and doing this whole body systems, life, world, all the things, when you really are looking at it and not treating in silos.
Exactly.
So good.
So good. It's so good. It's having the balance, right? It's having the balance of like the data. That's what I'm saying. It's having the balance of like the data and like the other aspects of things, right? The energetics and like all of that stuff. And because when people see like there's a correlation between how they're feeling and what the labs are saying, then they're like, oh, okay. Like, not only did you just validate my experience, but like now we have something to monitor. We have a strategy in place. Like, they're way more invested, not just financially, but more invested mentally and emotionally and all the things, to where they're actually going to follow through with what your recommendations are. Because like it actually makes sense.
Totally. And again, I think it's all encompassing and it's sequential. Like, we're dealing with all the pieces, we're not just jumping into your gut health. We're not just talking about your mental health. We're not just talking about musculoskeletal or just exercise or all the things, or just meditation, right? It's like, it's finding like what works for each person and like truly individualized care, right? Like, it's so fun. It's just fun.
It's so good. It's so fun. It's fun when it's like, I think the fun comes from that win-win-win aspect, where it's like, I'm not depleted. Like, I'm actually stepping back into my purpose and passion. Because I think we all got into this type of work, like as healers, because that was our purpose and passion. And that's what like lit us up. And then when we got into the real world of like what, the what do I want to say? I guess the conventional model that's out there, like, I feel like everything just like crashed and burned and died, and like
including my soul a little.
Exactly. It's not like at all. And I think that's why, like so many of us either switch professions, they quit, they like whatever. But then, when you step into this like win-win-win situation, it like reignites that, and you're like, oh shit, like this is it. This is why I'm doing this.
Exactly.
It feels so good. Yeah. Yeah. And it's just,
and I love a puzzle. I say all the time. Like, I mean, I think that is what I love about the physical therapy profession. It's what I love about this functional medicine aspect. I love the puzzle and like putting it all together. Like, don't give me somebody's post-op knee. I can care. That's boring. That's lame. Like, come to me when you've gone to like 8 other practitioners and things aren't working out and you're still not where you want to be. And let's really like dig into what's going on, and being able to put all those puzzle pieces together. And, the puzzle that is whatever, Michelle or whoever in front of me, is so much fun, and truly doing it with the patient now. Right. And so I feel like that's the other piece here, like setting goals for people, but they weren't part of the goal setting process.
Yeah, totally.
We said they were, because we're supposed to in the conventional model,
like collaborative, right? And comprehensive, like together. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, for sure. So good. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Real briefly, if someone is on the fence thinking about joining us inside the Wealth Mentorship, what would you say?
Fucking do it. Like, I mean, it's if you're already leaning that way, there's a reason that you're considering it, right? Like, I have no regrets. I guess that's all I can speak to is my experience. I have absolutely no regrets. I have a fantastic foundation of practitioners around me, and varied areas of service, which is really kind of cool, and different knowledge bases and different ways of life. So it's done nothing but open up opportunity for me. Like that's in a nutshell, right?
Oh, hell yeah. I love it.
I could preach about it all day, right? But yeah,
Thank you so much, Lori. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you showing up. And I love you so much. You know, we talk about a lot about like ideal clients. Like Lori is like 100% like an ideal client of mine, like for sure. So.
It's true. We got the same vibe for sure.
Yeah. Amazing. All right.
I love it.
You have a beautiful rest of your day, and maybe I'll see you later on our, you know.
Yes, we're getting close.
Financial sovereignty call.
Oh golly. Feeling good.
A whole other conversation.
It's really good. It's good, right?
It is good. We could catch up on we're also accountability partners in our group. So
love it.
I'll check in with you. All right.
You have a good day. Rest up, feel better.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, that's a wrap for today. If you want the exact breakdown of how I help practitioners go from their first 5K to consistent 50K months with just 2 offers, 10 hours per week, and an audience of less than 500 people, be sure to click the link in the podcast description or head to wealthywoman.co/breakdown. To make sure you don't miss an episode, be sure to subscribe. And for daily online practice insights, follow me on Instagram at wealthywoman.co. Let's create your life of wealth, full of abundance, purpose, health, wealth, and joy.